All our lives, we search for one thing: love. We are told it is the highest reward, the meaning of everything, and that is the honest truth. But for some reason, they forget to tell us about the bill, about the receipt that isn't brought to us immediately, but in installments, throughout our entire lives. I'm not talking about money, not about the cost of dinners at restaurants. I am talking about the internal, psychological price we pay every single day. About that other side, the one people don't speak of aloud. If you are here, if you turned on this video, it means you are no longer looking for a fairy tale. You are looking for understanding. Perhaps you are looking back at your path, at your relationships, maybe at decades of marriage, and you have questions. You can feel this price. You have perhaps already paid it. And you want to know if this is normal. Yes, it is normal. But not everyone is ready for it. The title of this conversation is The Other Side of Love. This is the price we pay. Let's be honest. The moment we fall in love, it's as if we sign an invisible contract. And the first clause in that contract, the most important and the most expensive one, is a part of ourselves. Remember yourself before you met your person. You had your own habits, your own dreams, your own rhythm of life. You were 100% I. You knew exactly what you wanted, how you loved to spend your evenings, what you dreamed about. You were a separate whole world. And then love appears, and we is born. We decide where to go on vacation. We plan the future. We think about what's best for the family. This we is an enormous happiness. In this we, there is warmth, support, and meaning. But it is also an enormous payment, because in order for we to appear, each I must move over, concede, give up a part of itself. In psychology, this is called merging. At the beginning of a relationship, this happens easily and joyfully. We concede readily. We change our habits so our partner is comfortable. We give up our hobby because our partner has different interests, and we want to spend time together. We start listening to their music, watching their movies, becoming friends with their friends. It doesn't look like a sacrifice. It looks like caring, like a natural process. But the years pass, decades, and these small daily concessions, they add up, they accumulate. And then one day, you are left in the silence. The children are grown, the hustle has settled down. You look in the mirror and suddenly ask yourself, and where am I in all of this? What happened to that person who loved silence so much? Who dreamed of learning to paint? Who wanted to travel to a completely different country? You suddenly realize you have lived for someone else's interest for so long, you have been a part of we for so long, that you have almost forgotten what it feels like to just be I. You realize that you have traded a huge part of yourself for this warmth, for this stability, for this family. This doesn't mean it was a bad trade, no, but it was a trade, it was a payment, and it turned out to be much higher than we thought at the beginning. This is the first, the most fundamental cost of love, the loss of a part of your autonomy, a part of your personal territory, a part of your soul. And this realization, it can be very painful. You suddenly feel that you have lost yourself in this relationship, and you don't understand how it happened. You were just in love. You were simply paying the first part of the price. But then there is the second, and it is perhaps even more frightening. The second cost we pay is the cost of openness. When we truly let another person into our life, we do the one thing we fear the most. We become defenseless. In normal life, with colleagues, with neighbors, even with friends, we all have armor. We don't show our weak spots. We don't talk about our fears. We don't admit to the things we're ashamed of. It's a defense mechanism. It helps us survive in society. But love, real love, demands that we take this armor off. You cannot be close to a person if you are hiding from them. And so, you begin to open up. You trust them with your deepest secrets. You show them your scars. You tell them about your failures. You let them see the real you. Not the strong, confident person everyone else sees, but the one who is afraid, who doubts, who makes mistakes. And in that moment, you hand this person the keys to your heart, the keys to your emotional balance. You give them complete power over you. In psychology, this is called vulnerability. This is the second enormous cost of love. You voluntarily give another person the right to hurt you, and they will, guaranteed. Not because they are a bad person, not because they want to wound you, but because they are another person. And because you are living human beings, no long-term relationship gets through without pain. It's impossible. That is the payment for openness. The person who knows you best also knows best how to hurt you the most. They know which word will strike the most accurately. They know which silence will be the most deafening. And this pain, it's special. If a stranger hurts you, you'll get angry, maybe upset, but you'll get over it. But when the one you love most in the world hurts you, that pain is unlike anything else. It pierces you through. It feels like betrayal. Remember how many times you've been hurt over the years. Not necessarily from big betrayals, no. From the little things. From inattention. When you were sharing something important, and they weren't listening. From a harsh word. Thrown in the heat of an argument, but landing perfectly on target. From coldness. When you needed support so badly, and all you got back was a wall. Every such moment is a small scar. That is the price you pay for deciding, once upon a time, to trust. You opened up, and you got hit. Maybe accidentally, but you were hit. That is the other side of love. The joy of being understood without a word has its flip side, the pain of being wounded by that same half word. Many people, after experiencing this pain once, decide to never open up again. They choose loneliness or superficial relationships. They no longer want to pay this price. They are not ready for it. But if you stayed, if you forgave, if you opened up again, you paid in full. You accepted the fact that love and pain are two sides of the same coin. You cannot take one without getting the other. We gave up a part of ourselves. We gave up our right to safety. We became vulnerable. And this brings us to the third cost. A cost we often don't even realize. A cost called illusions. And so, we gave up a part of ourselves. We gave up our right to peace of mind by becoming vulnerable. But there is a third payment, and it is perhaps the most bitter. It is the payment for our dreams. It is the cost of our illusions. Let's be perfectly honest. When we fall in love, we don't fall in love with the person. We fall in love with an image. We see someone before us who seems perfect. He is the strongest, the smartest, the most dependable. She is the most beautiful, the kindest, the most understanding. We don't see flaws, we don't want to see them. Moreover, we project all our hopes onto this person. We see in them what we lack in ourselves. We see them as our salvation from loneliness, from boredom, from problems. We paint a picture in our minds, a picture of a perfect life. With him, I will finally be happy. With her, I will finally be understood. And in the beginning, this picture works. For the first few months, maybe the first few years, we live in this beautiful illusion. We are at an emotional peak. And then, life begins. Just ordinary gray daily life. And this life, like sandpaper, begins to wear away the golden plating from our perfect image. That same strong and dependable man suddenly proves to be weak. He gets scared. He doesn't know what to do. He makes the wrong decisions. That same kind and understanding woman suddenly snaps. She yells. She can be unfair, irritable, exhausted. And right here, we pay the third price. We pay with our disappointment. This is a very painful moment. It is the moment we realize we didn't marry a prince, that we didn't marry a goddess, but that next to us is just another ordinary, frightened, imperfect human being, just like us. And life with them is not an eternal celebration. It is routine. It is money problems. It is sickness. It is fatigue. It is unwashed dishes. It is silence at dinner because you are both so tired, you have no strength left to talk. Many people break at this point. They say, "This isn't the person I fell in love with. This isn't the life I dreamed of." They feel cheated, and they leave to search for a new illusion. But if you stayed, if you are watching this video, having passed 20, 30, 40 years together, you know what I'm talking about. You paid this price. You mourned your illusion. You buried your dream of a perfect partner. And you made a choice. You made a real choice. Not the first one, when you were blinded by passion, but the second, quiet, adult choice. The choice to stay. The choice to love this one, the real, the imperfect, the tired, the sometimes weak, the sometimes unfair. You learn to love the person, not the image. That is the third payment, the rejection of the fairy tale, the acceptance of reality. And this is monstrously difficult. It is a daily labor to see the flaws every day and still choose this person. To see every day that life is not like a movie and still find meaning in it. This is the price of growing up in love, and having paid it, we face the fourth cost, the cost of time. We gave up a part of ourselves. We agreed to pain, opening our hearts. We buried our fairy tales and accepted reality. And now, the fourth payment. It is the most unavoidable and the most precious, because this resource is non-renewable. The fourth cost of love is our life, our time. Love is the most voracious consumer of your time. We often think that love is about the bright moments, the wedding, the birth of children, grand anniversaries, vacations by the sea. But that is the book's cover. The book itself is thousands, tens of thousands, of ordinary days. That is the payment. It is all those evenings you spent not in a noisy crowd, but at home, because we decided so. It is all those hours you could have spent on your career, on your education, on your hobbies, on your friends, but you spent them listening, helping, simply being there. But the hardest part of this cost isn't even that. When you make a choice at 25 or 30, you aren't just choosing a person, you are choosing one life. And by saying yes to this one life with this one person, you automatically say no to all the others, to all the other possible lives you could have lived. You will never know who you would have become if you had moved to that city. You will never know how life would have turned out if you had taken the risk and changed professions, which your partner was against. You will never know what life would have been like with someone else or alone. That is the cost. We pay for our love with all the lives we did not live, with all the roads we did not take. Sometimes, on a quiet evening, when you are alone, this thought comes. What if this isn't betrayal? It is simply the realization of the enormous price you have paid. You wagered everything, your entire, single, unrepeatable life. You gave it to this person, and time takes its payment not just in opportunities, it takes its payment in us. It takes our youth. Remember what you were like when you met. Remember that energy, that smooth skin, that light in your eyes, that strength. You gave this person your beauty. You gave them your best years, and you watched as time took them. This is another side of love, watching the one you love grow old, watching the wrinkles appear, watching the strength fade, watching illness arrive. It is easy to love the young, the healthy, the strong, but real love pays the price of acceptance. The acceptance of old age, the acceptance of frailty. It is a terrible payment to watch the one who was your whole world fade, and to not turn away, to stay, to love not for something, but in spite of everything. You pay by holding their hand when it is no longer so strong, by caring for them when they are helpless, by remembering that young man inside this tired old man. You exchange your youth for a shared old age. That is the fourth payment, the payment of time, which is gone forever. And so, having given ourselves, our safety, our illusions, and our time, we come to the fifth cost, the quietest and the highest. It is the cost of forgiveness. We paid with our self, we paid with our safety, we paid with our illusions, we paid with decades of our one and only life, and now, the final payment, the fifth. It is the most difficult, because it must be paid not just once, but again and again and again. It is the price of forgiveness. Not that big cinematic forgiveness for some terrible mistake, although that too. I am talking about something else, about the daily, quiet, almost invisible forgiveness. People who have lived together for 30, 40, 50 years are not people who never fought. They are not people who agree on everything. They are people who have become masters of forgiveness. That is the cost. You pay with your right to be right. Remember how many times over the years you were absolutely certain you were right, and your partner was not, and you stood at a crossroads to prove your point, to win the argument, or to keep the peace, to preserve the us. If you chose us, you paid. You paid with your pride. You forgave, even when you felt you were not the one who should be forgiving. You pay with your right to hold a grudge. You don't just forgive the big things. You forgive the little things that make up a life. You forgive his annoying habits. You forgive her inattentiveness. You forgive that he forgot again. You forgive that she said it again. You forgive them for not being perfect, day after day, year after year. You forgive them for being just human, and they forgive you. Your imperfection, that is the other side of love. It is the constant painstaking work of cleansing the soul. You decide again and again to let it go, to not hold on to anger, to not collect grievances, to not keep score. Because if you start keeping score, love ends. This price is the highest, because it demands humility. It demands that we admit that the relationship, that this us, is more important than my individual I, my personal truth, my personal pain. You choose love, not yourself. Pause. The voice becomes conclusive, very deep. There it is. The real cost of love. First, you pay with a part of yourself, your freedom, your I. Second, you pay with your safety, becoming vulnerable to pain. Third, you pay with your illusions, your dreams of a perfect fairy tale. Fourth, you pay with your time, your youth, and all the other lives you did not live. And fifth, you pay with your pride by forgiving every day. It is an enormous, complete, total price. You give everything. And the title of this talk is not everyone is ready for this, for nothing. Most are not ready. They leave the race. They are not willing to pay. They search for a love that costs nothing. But such a thing does not exist. And now, the main question. Look back at your journey, at everything you gave, at all 5 of these points. Was it worth it? There is no answer to that question that I can give you. But if you have watched up to this moment, if you nodded, recognizing yourself, if, remembering all that pain, all those sacrifices, you still feel warmth, if the thought of walking this path with someone else, or alone, seems alien to you, then you know the answer. We pay for love with our life, and in return, we receive meaning. The meaning of this life. We receive what cannot be bought, what cannot be built alone. We receive intimacy. That true, hard-won intimacy. Purified of illusions, tempered by time, you paid everything and you received everything. Thank you for being here.